Hi, I'm Painterdude, and I'm glad you could join me today. So this is an acrylics video, and I'm going to show you how you can paint northern lights with acrylics. Sort of like the ones you saw Bob Ross do. Except this time I've taken a black canvas, and I've just done that by covering it with a thin coat of black acrylic paint. Black gesso is better for this, but if black paint's all you got, it works just the same. Now I've just covered the canvas with some deep green. It's wet. It might look black to you, I don't know, but it looks green to me. So it's ready to go, and I'm only using 3 colors today. I'm using titanium white, deep green, and black. And I'm going to use one more color at the end for the signature. Well, I'm going to get started. Let's go into some titanium white. And try to get this to a flat point. And you can sort of sketch this out, or you can just go right into it. And because it's acrylics, this dries insanely fast. You want to sort of get this straight. If you don't, it's alright. So you can, with Bob Ross, he sort of like sketched out, like tapped a little line and then pulled it up. But this dries too quick to do that. Or, unless you do it fast enough, let's see if that actually works. Sort of flick it upward. I want these to go straight up. I'm going to fix these a little. I'm just going to grab more titanium white. I think I'm going to do one more line right here. This is a very nice little paint, so I'm using a little 8x10 inch canvas. Actually, you don't want much paint when you're pulling that up. I'm just going to flick it up. And you want to use a transparent color when you're doing northern lights. Phthalo blue works, phthalo green, deep blue. You can normally tell by taking a color and putting it on the canvas, sort of rubbing a little bit on it, and if it still looks black, then it's transparent. If it doesn't, well then it's obviously not transparent. Now no painting with northern lights would be complete without some nice little snow-capped mountains. Now Bob Ross does them with a knife, but he also has very thick paint. These are very thin acrylics, so knife painting isn't really going to work for it unless you have thick acrylic paint. So I'm just going to mix them on the brush here, going a little black and my deep green. It doesn't really matter how you lay this on there. Decide where your mountain's going to be. I think he lives right here. Covering up the northern lights a little bit, that's alright. You could even add stars to this if you wanted to. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. Early enough in this point, I could still add that. So I'm going to take just a dirty old toothbrush and mix a little green and white together. And you want this to be a little thin. And you're just going to sort of take your thumb and flick it. Just flick it. And you want to tilt it downward so you don't get it too much everywhere. I think I need a little more. It needs to be just a hair thinner. And a little more white. And just tap it in. Hit the northern lights, it's alright. I think you're normally able to see through them anyway. but do try to get them in the empty spaces, not where the northern lights are. If you get them on the mountains, it's alright, they're still wet. And don't have all your stars too close together. You want to look spaced out, sort of. Stars are usually spaced out. And you want them more at the top than at the bottom, because there's more light at the bottom of the horizon. So you want to have the majority of these at the top. Just gonna wash it. Now, when you're washing your acrylic brushes, never leave acrylic paint on your brush. It's very hard to get out if you let it dry on your brush. But if you do, because I've done that myself, is you can take some rubbing alcohol in just a little cup, and you can just sort of leave it in there for a few minutes and then just clean it with soap and water. It works. I'm going to take that same dirty flat brush and just sort of go back into my mountains a little bit, because I accidentally got some stars on them. If there's a star falling on the mountain, you're in trouble. Now I'm just going to pull this out. You can sort of outline your mountains with this. And don't worry about these northern lights, they'll go away later. Sort of outline your mountain with this. All you care about is this nice top edge. You don't really care about what's down here. It's a very basic picture. Anybody could do this. Got a little more green than I wanted, but that's alright. I think with that, I'm ready to start highlighting it. And this brush is a little big to beat on, so I'm actually going to just press it on a towel. Use a paper towel or a little cloth, it doesn't matter. I think I'm going to some titanium white. If you have a little green in it, it's alright. In fact, I'm just going to barely touch a little green, because this deep green is very strong. Well, the phthalo colors are. Just have it sort of to a chisel edge. You can sort of wiggle your brush and just pull it. Now, I didn't know Bob Ross did this, but he actually did this with a knife once. He just tapped it all the way down. Now, barely touching it, just sort of go down your mountain. You want this color to be a little clean. You also don't want too much paint on your brush either. So I'm actually going to wipe it off here on my palette a little. And you want these little holes, it's called paint breaks. If you try to do that with a knife, you'd hardly get any. I think the color's getting dirty, so I'm actually going to wash my little brush again. Just going to add a little paint. Let's see if it makes it look. Oh yeah, that looks better. If you use thick acrylic and paint this with a knife, that might work. I don't know, because I've never tried that and I really want to. But this is the closest thing I've discovered toward getting the most paint breaks with soft acrylics. Oops. I wonder if it looks better. Some of them now. Make sure you follow the angle of the mountain. There's not going to be much in this painting. Ooh, that one's coming out fairly nicely. That came out so nicely. I think I'm going to retouch it up here. Don't worry if you get it on your shadow side. You'll cover that up with shadows later on. With that, I'm going to take some white, a little deep green, and mix it here. You can sort of wipe off excess paint. And like you did on the other side, sort of cover it up. This is where if you have a 3/4 inch flat brush, it's handier. Picking up some of that mountain color, it's making it a little dirty. You don't have to exactly have defined lines with this. Oh, there's a good one. Yeah, there's a 1-inch gap between here, so this one's going to be fairly easy to come down. If you want to, you can let that mountain color dry a little so the highlight won't darken as much as you go down. I'm going to use the corner of it to get into these little areas. You can get mountain breaks like that while you still have that. Let's say those look a little nice. Fairly nice. I'm going to touch it up a little here. Look half bad. Just washing my brush again. I'm going to tap it out. Dry off a little. And missed it. Follow the angles. Sort of fluff it. Mountains have more detail at the top than they do at the bottom. With that, I do believe they are done. Now I'm just going to take a fan brush and add some trees at the bottom. This is a very basic painting. I'm not going to do add too much detail or foothills into it today. And these fan brushes are nice because they're flat. And now just tap downward. These are going to look like evergreens way back in the distance. More deep green and black. If you have these too far apart, it'll look like fence posts. Because this is a bristle fan brush, you have better looking treetops. Make sure you got the bases covered. So now I'm going to take just a little white, a little deep green, and I'm going to make it look like, you can pull it up here at the bottom, sort of make it look like tree trunks way back in the distance. Lightly. See, there's too much light here. In fact, I'm going to make it look like snow right here. Heck, why not? Just to make this whole bottom look like snow. You can actually blend the bottom out so it's dark enough for you. And that's dark enough for me. So I'm going to take some white. Not much deep green. Snow's usually white. Well, it does reflect the sky a little bit. I'm just going to pull it out here. That's right. You can make this plane look like different planes with each brush stroke. So pull across here. This is actually going to be a little quicker with a flat brush, so I'm just going to grab this little guy here. Go back in the white and a little green. Just pull it across. Then sort of make your defined hills. And I'd say that's a nice finished little painting, so I'm going to take a little round or script liner brush and here's my secret color. You ready? Red. Red's my favorite color, but you could sign it in whatever color you'd like. Now, when you're getting a thin color loaded on your script liner brush, twirl the bristles the way it's loaded. I'm just going to take and sign it. If your paint's thinner enough, it'll literally glide over your canvas. It's also looks better signing it if you let it dry first. This helps get it outlined for your signature. So let that dry and then sign it. Probably should have done that, but well, I hope that shows you how you can make a very nice little Northern Lights picture, fairly similar to Bob Ross at Sea oils, and this is with acrylics. So thank you very much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, like. Thank you for watching, and I'd like to wish you happy painting, man, and good luck.